Now, British High Commissioner to Ghana, Ian Walker, is about to embark on an adventure, a 1,000-kilometer bike ride from Tamale to Accra, which will take him through some of the most beautiful sides of Ghana. But why is a diplomat mounting the saddle for this grueling ordeal? My colleague, Kojo Yankson, decided to pay him a visit and find out.
Quite often, and on Sundays when the roads are quieter, I try and get out for a cycle. But I've never cycled 1,000 kilometres before, so this is a big challenge. I'm under no illusions, I'm not a professional cyclist. But in many ways that was part of the appeal. I thought I'm keen to do something that's challenging, that's different. And I think that's one of the bits of the aim of this actually, which is to encourage other people to take on challenges or take on things that they think they can't do, whether in their professional life or in their private life, whatever that is, and just face down things and see how you get on. And I'm pretty keen to make sure that we cover the ground fully, and I'm confident we will.
Now there's an aim to this, right? There's an objective. You're not just trying to burn lactic acid the most difficult way possible, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, so I think there's three main things that I think this is about. First is about health. You know, you've touched on that. How do you make sure that you look after your own health? First of all, I think much of the conversation in Ghana I hear is about Ghana moving beyond aid. And I can see a lot of the economic side of that as we talk about more investment. Is something we've talked about before. But as Ghana moves beyond aid, clearly a lot needs to change in terms of things like education, and we can see that through free SHS and such like. I think also in health really matters. Without your health, you can't learn. Without your health, you can't work. And I think that comes down to not just what the government do, but what individuals do and how they look after themselves. So as part of this trip, we're going to be reaching out to many of the hospitals with whom we partner, the health centres with whom we partner, and hopefully many others. We're working with many people in the diaspora from UK and Ghana who work in the medical services to talk to them and understand what's going on in the health service and get closer to some of the things that they are dealing with. So health is definitely one. A second part of this is really, I think my experience of Ghana is a country that is a beautiful country, fantastic people, hugely welcoming, and such a kind of diverse cultural mix in all the different areas that I've been. And I want to tell my part of the story of that, including to a UK audience through this. So part of this is about kind of tourism in that sense of telling the story of the country, and also about trying to get ahead of some of the environmental challenges that not just Ghana but we all face, whether that's around kind of water, whether around plastic. So I want to kind of think and talk to people about tourism and the natural environments. And then thirdly, as I've touched on, I think it's about challenging yourself. So those are the three aims, and in truth of the three, the one that's in my head at the most just now is challenging yourself, because you say it's not long away, so lots to do.
Yeah, well now you're also doing this for a cause, aren't you? Tell me about that.
So yeah, we're going to, so when I spoke to people about saying this was the plan, they said, well, why don't you raise some money? And my initial thought was, well, I would do that in the UK, but I'm mindful Ghana's moving beyond aid. I didn't want to kind of get into a kind of a political question about raising charitable money. But I thought, actually, people are right. There's people do want to kind of support us on this, and I've got many people in Ghana who have donated some monies, and so too in the UK. We're obviously covering all the costs for this ourselves, but the money we raise is going to go to the plastic surgery and burns units at Korle-Bu Hospital. And the reason for that is twofold. One, I think Korle-Bu is a fantastic hospital, some brilliant people working down there. And what I like about it is it's not just about Accra. The plastics surgery and burns unit has an outreach as a small unit in Kumasi, and does outreach programs into Wa and many other kind of places. So that's, I think, one of the important bits. And secondly, again, it's about whatever money I raise will be token. Yeah. But I think when we think about burns, much of it is actually, when I talk to the medical people here and elsewhere, we often talk about malaria as a big challenge, and I think 400,000 people a year die from malaria in Africa each year. 300,000 die from burns, and often that's because of kind of faulty gas canisters, or people perhaps not being aware of the risk of the smell of gas and the kind of impact that can have if you just light a naked flame. Things that sound perhaps very simple but we've got to get that message out there, because there's 300,000 people a year dying from this. It's so needless, and there is a shortage of plastic surgeons here in Ghana and around the region. And I think I want to have a conversation about that, about, you know, a lot of this is about public awareness as much as it is about medical treatment. And the centre in Accra is truly world class, and they are now training plastic surgeons from Sierra Leone, from Cameroon, and from many places too. So I think it's a combination of things, but it to me tells a bit of a story of, you know, Ghana has got a great story to tell here about how it's teaching across the region, but there's so much more to do, and that's not just for doctors to do, but for all of us.
Now let's talk about the feat itself. 1,000 kilometers. It's going to take you how many days to do this?
10 days, I think, yeah.
10 days,
yeah.
Wow. So about 100 kilometers a day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gruesome.
That's the plan. So I think we've actually got a rest day as well, so it's probably more like 120 roughly a day. So I think, but yeah, I think it will be, we're going to try and set off early each morning, make sure we kind of, you know, before the sun. It's only mad dogs and Englishmen, I think, that cycle in the midday sun. So we'll try and avoid the midday as much as possible and get out early and later in the day, and we'll do, as I said, as many people as possible on the route.
So I guess you've planned your stops along the way. Is there anything strategic about the stops? Do you intend to do anything in particular at any of your stops as part of the?
So we've got a range of things that we have planned. We'll be going to places of worship. We'll be going to schools. We'll be going to health centres along the way. We'll be going to see a mental health hospital along the way that we are working with en route. But we'll do more than that. I think we will go and see some of the tourist sites that are here in Ghana as well. So, you know, the last part of the trip will be coming down to the Volta region. We certainly plan to be climbing Mount Afajato and also going to see Vlee Falls, for example. So we want to try and, you know, make sure we build in a bit of the true kind of experience as well as reaching out and meeting and seeing people along the way. So that's the plan.
You've made the point of how beautiful Ghana is, and you know it's good of you to notice. Of course, you're going to see a lot of it on this ride. You'll be capturing a lot of it and putting it out on social media and so forth. Is there a strategy, a deliberate purpose of highlighting Ghana as a tourist destination to the people of Britain?
Yeah, well, for me there is actually. So I do find that kind of words get in the way sometimes. So we talk about tourism, and we often think about, you know, people flying in and coming on holiday, and of course that's what we're talking about. But for me, there's a step that comes before people choosing to come to Ghana on holiday.
So that's the British High Commissioner to Ghana going on a 10-day tour of Ghana on bike, raising funds for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Burns Unit. Wish him the best of luck.